My beloved child, heaven is stirring with movement on your behalf, a divine orchestration unfolding in the unseen realms, where angels are dispatched and destinies are aligned. Though the full picture remains veiled, I am here as a messenger of the Most High, sent not to alarm or bewilder you, but to lift the curtain that has long obscured the profound significance of your obedience, your suffering, and the quiet sacrifices you've laid at the altar of faith. You did something monumental, though it felt small in the momenta that has shifted the very trajectory of your future. A wealthy stranger, guided by divine instruction, is being positioned to move you, elevate you, and relocate you, not because you sought it in desperation, but because you walked in unwavering obedience to the call of God. In the secret places of your heart, where no one else could see, you made choices that heaven itself recorded. You walked away from a situation that crushed your spirit, choosing grace over vengeance, love over bitterness, and silence over self-defense when others sought to tarnish your name. That moment, when you turned the other cheek, when you loved despite the pain, when you held your tongue while accusations flew, heaven took note. It wasn't weakness, it was strength forged in the fire of faith. You did something in secret, unnoticed by the world, uncelebrated by those around you, but God saw it. You laid down what your heart clung to, you forgave those who didn't deserve it, you blessed those who cursed you, and heaven declared it holy. That single act of restraint, that decision to walk by faith rather than sight, set off a divine chain reaction. It was a seed sown in tears, a sacrifice offered in the wilderness of your trials, and now it is bearing fruit in ways you could not have imagined. You passed a test that others failed, and the reward coming your way will astonish even those who doubted you. A wealthy stranger, as someone stirred by visions in the night, by dreams sent from heaven, by angelic whispers, is being prepared to step into your life. This person carries resources, influence, and access to doors that are being unlocked for your sake, not because you chased after them, but because you sowed in faith, trusted through pain, and moved when God whispered, even when logic screamed for you to stay still. You didn't realize it at the time, but when you said, "Yes, Lord," in the quiet of your wilderness, heaven responded with a resounding, "Now." Your relocation began in the spirit before it ever took shape in the natural. You don't need to search for your next destination, it is searching for you. You don't need to knock on 1,000 doors, one is being crafted specifically for you, and the key is already in the hands of someone whose heart is being softened by the hand of God Himself. This stranger is not a random figure, they are an answer to a prayer you prayed when you were broken, crumpled on the floor, wondering if anyone heard your cries. They are the fulfillment of an ancient promise, a covenant etched in the annals of heaven, that the righteous would never be forsaken, that help would come suddenly, that wealth would be transferred to those who walk in obedience. Let me take you back to that pivotal moment, the one that set this divine shift in motion. You were surrounded by betrayal, misunderstood by those you loved most, accused of things you didn't do. The temptation to fight back, to defend your honor, to clear your name was almost unbearable, but you didn't. You entrusted your cause to heaven. You remained faithful when it would have been easy to give in to anger or despair. You declared, "God, even if no one sees me, I know you do." That declaration became a contract, a sacred agreement between you and the divine. That moment birthed your elevation. You didn't chase platforms or recognition, you pursued righteousness. You didn't scheme, you served. You didn't manipulate, you mourned. While others mistook your humility for weakness, the angels called it wisdom. Now, here you stand, on the precipice of a divine relocation, sensing a shift in your atmosphere. You've been seeing strange dreams, vivid and unexplainable, stirring your spirit. A gentle restlessness has settled over you, a feeling that the places and spaces that once felt comfortable are now too small to contain the fullness of who you are becoming. Conversations that once nourished your soul now feel shallow, unable to match the depth of the vision God has placed within you. You're outgrowing the old, not because you're striving, but because heaven is stretching you for the next level. This is no accident, it's the handiwork of God, preparing you for a new chapter. What you didn't expect, what you couldn't have foreseen, is that God is sending someone who doesn't carry the baggage of your past to deliver you into your future. This wealthy stranger doesn't know your story the way others do. They haven't judged your scars or labeled you based on rumors. They see potential where others saw problems, destiny where others saw disqualification. And the reason they're coming is because of what you did. You chose healing over hatred, wholeness over brokenness, humility over pride. You believed that God could still use you, even after the pain, the loss, the rejection. That faith has unlocked a supernatural outpouring of favor over your life. This stranger, this vessel of divine favor, has been instructed by the Spirit to find you. They will offer more than financial relief, they will offer relocation to purpose. You've been in a land of testing, a wilderness where your faith was refined, but God is bringing you into a land of abundance, a place where your gifts will flourish, and your calling will take root. This relocation is not just about a change in geography, it's spiritual, emotional, and prophetic. It's a movement from the old story, marked by struggle and survival, into a new chapter, defined by favor and fulfillment. You're not being relocated to escape, you're being relocated to expand. The wealthy stranger has been awakened in the night, their spirit stirred by divine dreams of you. They've been told to make room for someone who carries a rare light, someone who has walked through deep fires and emerged refined, someone who bears the oil of suffering and the wisdom of survival. That someone is you. This person may be a business person, a kingdom investor, a benefactor, or even a stranger from a distant land, but they will know in their spirit that you are sent by God. When they find you, it won't make sense in the natural. They won't be able to explain why they feel compelled to help you, to move you, to open doors for you. But their obedience is tied to their own blessing, so they will act. They will release what is in their hand because you released what was in your heart. This is not about the money, it was never about the money. The funds are merely a tool, a means to an end. The real treasure is the favor of God, the divine alignment that is positioning you for purpose. Do not be surprised when an unfamiliar name appears, offering opportunities that seem too good to be true. Do not dismiss a sudden invitation that feels beyond your reach. It may be the answer to a prayer you almost forgot you prayed. And above all, Do not let fear cause you to second-guess the door that opens. This is not a scam or a trap. This is the fruit of what you did in private, the harvest of your trust in God's timing, your surrender in the face of pain, your obedience when no one was watching. You will relocate not just physically, but spiritually. You will be repositioned, revived, and restored. You will walk into rooms you once only dreamed of, sit at tables where your name was once mocked, and carry resources for the vision God has placed in your heart. You will no longer feel the need to explain yourself to those who never saw your value. This is your exodus moment, your divine exit from the land of not enough into the territory of more than enough. Because you obeyed without applause, stayed faithful without recognition, wept but still worshipped, released what hurt instead of clinging to bitterness, and moved forward when it would have been easy to give up, heaven is rewarding you. A wealthy stranger is being dispatched, a Joseph-level relocation is unfolding, an Esther-sized elevation is on the horizon, and a Ruth-like redemption is being written. This is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of the chapter you've longed to see. Heaven is watching over every step, angels have already gone ahead of you, the provision is in place, the paperwork will move quickly, the confirmation will be clear, and the release will be sudden. The joy that's coming will make you forget the sorrow of the season that nearly broke you. Prepare your bags are not just physical, but spiritual. Prepare your heart, your vision, your spirit to be stretched. When you said yes to God's timing, you didn't just shift your situation, you unlocked your divine relocation. If you're reading this in a moment of waiting, wondering, or wrestling with what's next, know that you have not been forgotten. This is your confirmation, your angelic alert. Something is about to break open for you. God is sending someone with wealth, not just in finances, but in wisdom, resources, influence, and favor to carry you into the next dimension. And it's happening because you obeyed, trusted, sowed, endured, and believed. Rise, child of destiny. The wealthy stranger is on their way. Your relocation has already begun. If this message stirs your spirit, I invite you to declare, I receive this divine relocation, letting heaven know that your heart is open, your faith is strong, and your obedience is ready. O Father of favor, so holy and true, I lift up my heart, surrender to you. You saw what I gave up, you know what I lost, yet still I said yes, no matter the cost. In the quiet of my pain, when no one else saw, I chose to obey, though my heart was still raw. I walked through the fire, I trusted your name, and now I'm awaiting the promise you claim. I planted in silence, I watered with tears, you counted each one through the difficult years. Every moment of surrender, every cry in the night, was seen by your eyes, in your infinite sight. Now angels are moving, with wealth in their hand, to lift me and place me in destiny's land. I feel the shift coming, the stirring within, the old is now fading, the new will begin. A stranger is coming, their soul has been stirred, they carry provision, they heard heaven's word. They won't see my failures, my scars, or my shame, but the purpose you've placed in the core of my name. They'll open the doors that I couldn't unlock, they'll walk in your timing, as steady as rock. Their heart has been softened, their spirit aligned, to fulfill the assignment your love has designed. Relocate my spirit, my calling, my name, restore what was stolen, renew me through flame. Open the doors that no man can close, reveal all the blessings that heaven bestows. I'm ready to step where you're calling me now, to walk in your favor, to honor my vow. The wilderness taught me, the trials refined, and now I'm prepared for the future you've signed. I trust you completely, I lean on your plan, I'm led by your whisper, not moved by man. Release now the funding, the favor, the place, where I will walk boldly, adorned by your grace. I'm leaving the old, with its pain and its strife, and stepping with courage to abundant life. The stranger is coming, their heart is prepared, to carry your promise, with nothing compared. In Jesus' name, I claim it today, my divine relocation is on the way. What I sowed in pain will return in delight, to the wealthy shall bless me by heaven's invite. I stand in your presence, my heart open wide, I'm ready to follow where you will provide. The angels are moving, the path is made clear, my future is calling, my breakthrough is near. Amen. This message and prayer are an invitation to trust in the divine orchestration of your life. The steps you've taken in faith, the sacrifices you've made in secret, have not gone unnoticed. Heaven has recorded every tear, every moment of surrender, and every act of obedience. Now, as you stand on the edge of a new season, know that God is moving on your behalf. The wealthy stranger, the divine connection, the open door, they are all part of a plan far greater than you can imagine. Your relocation is not just a change of scenery, it's a shift into the fullness of your purpose, a movement from survival to abundance, from testing to triumph. You may not see the full picture yet, but the pieces are coming together. The dreams you've been having, the restlessness you feel, the sense that something bigger is on the horizon, these are signs of heaven's activity in your life. The stranger who is coming doesn't know your past struggles, but they see your future potential. They are drawn to you not by coincidence, but by divine design. Their resources, their influence, their open doors are tools in the hands of God, meant to propel you into the next chapter of your story. This is not a moment to shrink back in fear or doubt. This is a moment to stand tall, to prepare your heart, and to trust that what God has promised, He will perform. The provision is already in place. The confirmation will be undeniable. The release will be swift. And the joy that awaits you will overshadow every sorrow you've endured. You are not forgotten, not overlooked, not forsaken. You are chosen, appointed, and anointed for this moment. As you move forward, carry this truth in your heart. Your obedience has unlocked a divine chain reaction. What you did in secret, God is rewarding in the open. The wealthy stranger is only a vessel, God is the source. The relocation is only a step, your purpose is the destination. And the favor that is coming is only a glimpse of the glory God has prepared for you. Rise, child of God. Your divine relocation has already begun. Beloved, as you stand at this sacred threshold, where heaven's promises are unfolding and divine alignments are taking shape, let this truth anchor your soul. Your obedience has rewritten your story, and your faith has unlocked a future brimming with God's favor. the wealthy stranger, the open door, the relocation to your divine purpose. They are not mere possibilities but certainties, sealed by the hand of the Most High. Every tear you shed in secret, every prayer whispered in the dark, every step taken in trust has been woven into a tapestry of triumph that heaven is now unveiling. You are not merely moving to a new place, you are stepping into a new dimension of God's glory, where your gifts will shine, your calling will soar, and your life will testify to the faithfulness of the One who sees all. This is your moment. Your divine relocation is not a dream deferred but a promise delivered. Embrace it with courage, for the angels are cheering, the provision is flowing, and the stranger sent by God is already on their way. Do not let doubt dim the light of this revelation or fear steal the joy of what's coming. The wilderness was your training ground, but the promised land is your inheritance. The God who saw your sacrifice in the shadows is now preparing a stage for your elevation in the light. Trust the process, trust the timing, trust the One who holds your future. As you prepare your heart for this shift, let your spirit declare, I am ready. Ready to receive, ready to relocate, ready to rise into the fullness of who God created you to be. Your story is not over, it is only beginning, and the chapters ahead will overflow with testimonies of God's goodness. This message is not just a fleeting word of encouragement but a divine proclamation, a clarion call to awaken your spirit to the reality of what God is orchestrating in your life. It is a summons to step out of the familiar, to release the weight of past disappointments, and to embrace the boundless possibilities that await you. Consider the journey that has brought you to this moment. Every trial you faced, every moment of uncertainty, every season of waiting was not wasted. Those moments were the crucible in which your faith was refined, your character was shaped, and your purpose was clarified. The nights you spent wrestling with doubt, the days you pressed forward despite the odds, the times you chose to believe when everything around you screamed otherwise, these were not mere happenstances but divine appointments. God was working behind the scenes, aligning people, places, and opportunities to converge at this precise moment. The wealthy stranger, the one who will play a pivotal role in your relocation, is not a figment of your imagination but a person anointed by God to cross your path. The open door, the one that seems impossible to breach, is already being unlocked by the hand of the Almighty. The relocation to your divine purpose, the place where your gifts will flourish and your calling will find its fullest expression, is not a distant hope but a present reality unfolding before you. This divine relocation is more than a change of address or a shift in circumstances. It is a transformation of your entire existence, a stepping into the fullness of who God created you to be. It is a movement from the shadows of obscurity to the light of divine visibility, from the confines of limitation to the expanse of God's abundance, from the pain of preparation to the joy of fulfillment. This relocation is not just about geography, it is about destiny. It is about stepping into a space where your talents are celebrated, your voice is heard, and your impact is undeniable. It is about living a life that reflects the glory of the One who called you, a life that inspires others to believe in the God who makes all things possible. The wilderness, that place of testing and trial, was never meant to be your permanent residence. It was a season, not a sentence. It was a classroom, not a cage. In the wilderness, You learned to lean on God's strength, to trust His provision, to hear His voice in the stillness. You discovered the resilience of your spirit, the depth of your faith, the power of your prayers. Every challenge you overcame, every fear you faced, every tear you shed was a seed planted in the soil of your future. Those seeds are now sprouting, and the harvest is at hand. The promised land, the place of God's favor and fulfillment, is not a myth but a reality you are stepping into. It is a land flowing with opportunities tailored to your purpose, relationships ordained by heaven, and resources supplied by the hand of God. Do not be deceived by the whispers of doubt that seek to undermine your faith. The enemy of your soul will try to convince you that this promise is too good to be true, that you are unworthy of such favor, that God has forgotten you. But those lies cannot stand against the truth of God's word. The Bible declares that God is faithful to complete the good work He began in you. It assures you that His plans for you are for good and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. It reminds you that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment shall be condemned. You are not defined by your past mistakes, your current struggles, or the opinions of others. You are defined by the God who created you, the Savior who redeemed you, and the one who empowers you to fulfill your purpose. As you stand on the cusp of this divine relocation, let your heart be filled with expectancy. Expect God to move in ways that exceed your wildest dreams. Expect doors to open that no man can shut. Expect provision to flow from unexpected sources. Expect the stranger sent by God to arrive at the appointed time. This is not the time to shrink back in fear or to settle for less than God's best. This is the time to rise in faith, to walk in boldness, to declare with confidence that you are ready for what God has prepared. Your readiness is not about having all the answers or knowing every detail of the journey ahead. It is about trusting the one who holds the map, following the one who lights the path, and believing the one who writes the story. The angels are indeed cheering for you. Heaven is not passive in this moment, it is actively engaged in your breakthrough. The Bible speaks of angels as ministering spirits sent to serve those who are heirs of salvation. They are at work, clearing obstacles, preparing the way, orchestrating divine connections. The provision you need for this relocation, whether financial, emotional, or spiritual, is already being released. God is not limited by your circumstances or the economy of this world. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and His resources are infinite. The stranger sent by God, the one who will play a key role in your transition, is already on their way. They may not know you yet, but God has spoken to their heart, align their steps, will prepare them to be a vessel of His blessing in your life. Relocation is not just about you, it is about the ripple effect of your obedience. Your story will inspire others to trust God. Your breakthrough will encourage others to persevere. Your testify will point others to the faithfulness of the one who God. It will be a living testament to His power, His love, and His grace. As you step into this new dimension of God's glories, you will become shining, a living testament, a shining example of what God can do. People will look at your life and say, if God did it for them, He can do it for me. Your relocation will spark a movement of faith, a revival of movement, a celebration of God's goodness. The chapters ahead will be filled with stories of how God's faithfulness, how He turned tears into joy, how He answered prayers in ways you never imagined, how He led you to abundance. Your life will be a testimony to God's goodness, His power His love that never fails. You'll tell others, I trusted God's, and He came through. I believed in His promises, and He made a way. I stepped out in faith, and I walked into God's divine relocation He prepared for me. This is your story is God's story, is a chapter overflowing with His favor, His grace is grace, His purpose for you purpose. Rise, rise, child of God's child, and let your light shine, world see your light. Your relocation has begun, heavens and His heaven watching with joy, the angels singing, His favor flowing, the strangers coming, the doors opening door. Declare with boldness, I'm ready. I am ready. Step into God's destiny prepared for you, God's best is yet to come.